Smash Bros. Is practically the Street Fighter of platform fighters.
Huh?
What I mean is that it was the first, you know? At least when it comes to fleshing out the genre. It did percentage damage, DI, actual platforms, tilts, you know, the works. And although it supplanted itself as like the definitive platform fighter that people will play, there are a few things that I wish it kind of influenced itself a little more. There's mechanics that they already have now that can need some improvement, like parrying. There's added mechanics that you could do, like air dashing, maybe like, I don't know, wave dashing, for instance. You know, a lot of fun ways in order to play the game. But I think there's one thing about Smash Brothers that I really just wish it finally did. And that, my good friend, is gimmicks. See, a lot of people would hear that and they would use the retort that gimmicks are already added in the game, which is kind of true, kind of not. Some people would say that having transformations would be a sort of gimmick that people have, like Joker, maybe even like Cloud with limit breaks, that sort of thing. Or maybe even have different sorts of ways to play, such as maybe the Ice Climbers specifically having two characters, maybe even saying that Rosalina and Luma are technically a gimmick. Me, I don't really agree with this sort of headspace. At worst, I think that they just don't have gimmicks at all, and at best, these gimmicks are just really poor and boring in my opinion. But it's alright though, that's the purpose of what this video is about. I'm going to make this a series. What if Smash Bros have gimmicks? And I'm going to start off with the original 8 that we have now, and as time goes on, go with more and more characters. My design philosophy would be something like Rivals of Aether or Rushdown Revolt. I give a person a gimmick that centralizes them in order to do certain functions. For example, Raster has the air current. It makes it so he can get more and more distance horizontally. It makes his kill throws even better. It centralizes with himself. For Seth and Rushdown Revolt, if he hits you, he can build up his meter, but he doesn't just use something like a final smash or something like a transformation. He can actually spend it on EX moves that can do an assortment of different things that he can do in the battlefield. This is my sort of mindset when it comes to trying to give Smash Brother characters gimmicks. So I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from when I try to convey these sorts of things. Alright, well, without any further ado, after all the introductions have been out of the way, let's actually get into the part that you guys want to get into. The first 8 Smash Brother characters. And of course, let's start off with the Red Plumber himself, Mario. Mario is definitely supposed to be the most basic character when it comes to playing the game. I would describe him as the master of none. He can do a lot of things, he just can't do them pretty well, like a lot of other characters. Okay weight, okay attack power, and okay up B, you know, everything is fine. And I don't really want to get rid of this sort of thing. I think it's actually very perfect that his gimmick would be sort of basic. It can give people a sort of warm welcome when it comes to giving Smash Brother characters gimmick and slowly getting them into like the higher degrees of what they can do. So let's make it really simple. Mario has had a ton of variety of items when it comes to the years that he's been a video game character. And the way that he usually gets these sort of power-ups has always been the same. Blocks. So let's focus on that. Mario will receive the gimmick of question blocks. We'll replace one of his taunts in order to sneakily put this in with his moveset. When he does a specific taunt button, you'll get a question block, and over time, it will have 4 potential items that you can do. Somewhat like Pac-Man. These power-ups are very simple and simply improve one of the moves that the plumber has. He will be able to get the mushroom, the fire flower, the cape, and finally, the Metal Mario Shroom. If you take the mushroom, it will simply improve his up B. Not only will it have more height when it comes to actually trying to recover, but it will slightly have more kill power. Mario already has the combos in order to try to keep chaining up airs into each other and maybe hit it with up B, so giving him a sort of thing that can make this a little more consistent is honestly okay. Or hell, if you wanted to be that guy, you could also make it so that you only get the kill power and maybe just a little less height, just to make it a little more fair and balanced, I guess. But that's if it would be broken. I don't really think it would be. The second power-up that he can get is the Fire Flower. See, Mario's B already throws one Fire Flower, so let's just increase this a little bit. If you were to take this Fire Flower, you can actually produce 2 fireballs instead of 1. Which is weird because he's able to do 2 fireballs in his game, which could be a particular reference when it comes to this sort of thing. I would assume that these fireballs would be more neutral sort of thing so that you can get some distance on certain people. Maybe if you're cool enough, you can try to make these combo into each other, maybe like pills like Dr. Mario. But that's to imply that I actually know how the physics for Smash Bros. Works every single time, which I don't. The third power-up is very interesting. It is the cape. I would make it so that if you hold on the jump button when you have the cape, it would slowly glide horizontally like his old games. Maybe not have it last indefinitely in order to make it less broken, but it's really hard to determine if these things would really be broken as an outset. There's just no way to know. I would also let it have a reminder to custom moves back in the day. So I would also give it so that when you side B people, it would be like the Gus cape from Smash 4 and really push people aside and give you some distance. The last one, I would like to reward people if, the opponent is doing too much or maybe they're taking too long. I would let it be the Metal Shroom. It would have the same properties that the game already has when it covers people in metal. You could survive more attacks, you could, do more damage, but also your mobility and your recovery is kind of dog water. This could probably be balanced for the fact that it would take too long in order to go for this straight up, and also, when Mario tries to do the question block in order to get another ability, it would actually replace the ability you already have, so you can't just stack all of these at once. That way, it's definitely a little more balanced, and it requires like a little bit of weakness to the character. I actually really like the fact that these things are very simple because it's kind of what Mario has been up to this point. Now, if we want to get to more spicy material, we're gonna have to go to the next character, which is Donkey Kong.